The car dealership website also comes with a robust set of theme options. In this video demonstration, we'll show you how to use those theme options and the flexibility that it provides on your website. To toy with the theme options, you'll begin by clicking the Theme Options button in your content management system. Before we get started, it's important to note that Oompa Web, when they build your site, pre-configure most of these settings for you. But some of these settings you may want to change your own, and in this demonstration we'll go over some of those settings. For example, if you go to the General tab, one of the first things you'll notice is you can determine the color scheme of your site. In the notes over here, you'll notice that we provide you a link to a website where you can choose the hex color that corresponds with the color of the website that you'd like to publish. For example, this hex color corresponds with the dark gray theme that you see here. If we want to change that, simply enter in another hex color. For example, this theme here should publish the website in red. You'll enter in that hex code, hit Save Changes, go to your website, reload it, and there you have a brand new color scheme. And of course, if you want to revert that back to the other color scheme, go back into the content management system, enter in the original hex code, and hit Save Changes. Then you'll visit your site, reload it one more time, and the color scheme is back. Let's hop back into the content management system and take a look at some of the other features. Let's open up the General tab again. In the alternate text color scheme, let's say for example that you choose a color scheme that has a really light background. Some of the text on your site may blend in if you have a light background. So you can do the same thing and enter in a hex color code here to make your text a little bit darker. And if you use the simplified header setting, you can remove or add some of the features in the background. For example, let's turn this on. Let's go back up and save changes. Go to our website and take notice of the background image that you currently see, and then let's go ahead and reload this. And that background image disappears. Let's hop back into the system and revert those changes. Turn this to off. And let's move down and take a look at some of the other settings. For example, if you wanted to increase the number of recent listings shown on your home page from 2 to 4, you can do that here. And if you scroll down, you also have some of the other features as it pertains to the search functionality on your site. So if you wanted to add additional manufacturer types and secondary search options, you can do that here. And then of course for the search functionality on the site, you can change each of these settings here. You can predefine the search parameters. But again, keep in mind that Oompa Web will do most of this for you, and this is here just in case you want to tweak the functionality at a later date. Perhaps one of the most important features though is the currency. You'll see that there are several types of currency that are allowed and accepted in the content management system. By default it is set to US dollars, but if you need something else you can select it from the fields here. You can also determine the phone number that shows up in the header of your site, as you see that right here. And if you have a logo that you would like Oompa Web to upload into your site, just send us the logo and we'll upload that as well. And the logo will show up here in the upper left-hand corner. Lastly, we can specify some of the logo dimensions as well if you'd like it small, medium, or large, depending on the logo that you have. So let's go ahead and save these changes and revert some of our original settings. Go back, reload the page, and you'll see that the custom header is now back. You can also tweak the Browse By settings on your site. Just as a reminder, the Browse By settings are what you see up here in the top navigation. This allows your website visitors to quickly search through your entire inventory and to slice that by certain types of information such as the price range and the engine size, etc. Let's say you want to change some of those. First option is you could choose to remove it completely. We'll leave that on for now though, so we can demonstrate some of these other settings. But let's say for example you did not want to include the All Listings button. You didn't want to include body type. You didn't want to include engine size. but you only want to include the manufacturer, so we'll leave that on. You don't want to include mileage. You don't want to include model year, but you do want to include price, so we'll leave that for now. You can go ahead and save your changes. We'll go back to the site again. Notice that the settings are there for now, but if you refresh the page and open up Browse By again, all those settings are gone except for the ones that you left on. And of course, to revert this, you can head back in, open up these settings, change them all to yes, and go about your business. As a car dealership, you may also want to enable some of your sales reps to be able to go in and add inventory or make edits to inventory as they're sold. In order to do that, let's open up the membership login section. One of the features is you can show the login form at the top of the page for anyone who's an administrator of your site. We'll demonstrate that really quickly. So you'll change the show login form to show, hit save changes, go back to your website, reload the page, and then you'll see the login setting above. Any of your sales reps who are enabled as an administrator for the site can then log into the back end and update any of your inventory as changes are being made. You may also want to customize some of the content that you see on your site. For example, you may want to customize some of these search titles here, for example, max price, min price, transmission, etc. Or you may want to customize the title of this featured text and the content that exists below it. If you go into the content management system, you'll find all that underneath the language setting. For example, let's change the intro heading. Just enter in the new text, hit save changes, go back to your website, reload the page, and you'll notice that there is a new title that's being used. You can do the same thing for all this text down beneath the featured title. So we'll quickly review all the items that are available in the language setting. So there's the intro text that I just highlighted. You can change the heading for all automobiles, customize the recent automobiles text, the text for latest listings, your search heading text, all the manufacturer texts, and so on and so forth. You can even change the search button text if you'd like to, or the text above the loan calculator. And in case somebody searches on your site and doesn't find a vehicle that matches those search filters, you can even change the language of what they see on the search results page. And finally, you can toy around with some of the contact us settings as well, so that you can easily update your phone numbers. And in many cases, this is something that web developers would need to be paid for in order to make simple changes on your site. But in the case of the Oompa Web car dealership website, all this is handled in the content management system. The car dealership website also comes with social media integrated, such as Facebook and Twitter. You can change those settings under the social networking tab. For example, you can enter in your own Twitter username, the URL to your LinkedIn profile, as well as the URL to your Facebook page. Once you enter those here and hit Save Changes, then go back to visit your website and reload it, you'll notice that these social media icons appear in the footer of your website and point exactly to your Twitter and Facebook profiles. That wraps up this video demonstration of the Theme Options tab. Oompa Web recommends that once you receive your site, you dig into these settings to become familiar with them. There are literally dozens of them that allow you to quickly and easily customize many of the features on your site, all without ever having to pay a web developer again. If you're interested in having Oompa Web build this website for you, send us an email at sales@oompaweb.com or hit the Buy Now button on our site. Thanks again for checking out Oompa Web.